wonderful line of the stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with another episode of the DeAgostini Millennium Falcon from Fanhome. And man, it is good to get back to building this model. I built the frame, oh god, it's probably been a month ago now. It's been sitting at the end of my bed on the little table that I created, and yeah, let's just say that I wait too long on some of these things. It's so amazing. Like, back in the day, I would really, have killed to have as many things to do on the channel as I do. And I tried to do them all, went insane in the process. So, for this one, we're going to be probably holding off. We'll see how this goes. There is currently a missing stage. It is currently on back order and is due to arrive the last week of June. This episode I'm recording around the second week of June, slated to go out the third week of June, and so somewhere in that neighborhood I should be receiving the next set of stages, but there's going to be a missing one, and it's not like I'm missing stage 45, 46, 47, which is where I'm getting up to. I'm almost halfway through this build, which is kind of crazy to think about, but I'm missing stage 32, which I think it's 32 or 34, something like that. There's a missing stage, and it's one of the ones that are next. And it's a frame piece, and it's a core frame piece, and there's nothing I can do about it. So it is what it is. So that's why I'm kind of why I dropped the R2-D2 episode a couple weeks ago. I'm just trying to line things up properly so we can continue to get content going as we go along and give me time to do all the recording that I need to do. So needless to say, this might be the last one that we do for a couple of weeks. And so I've got other options for things. Obviously, I got way too many damn things I'm building right now. And so don't worry, there'll be plenty of things to build. So let's go ahead and get started. And stage 28 and stage 27, I've already pulled the frame pieces out of there. I have already pulled the the plastic pieces that we set the Falcon on top of while we're building. So these aren't the complete stages. So these are just what's left after doing that. As you recall, in the previous episode of this series, I had gone through and built all of the frame sections and assembled everything that I had up to, I think it was stage 31, 32, somewhere in that neighborhood. And we're really moving along and doing some great progress. And so let's go ahead and get all of the internal bits finished up. And as you can see in stage 28, my favorite thing in the world, one of our corridor pieces. But we're going to be doing these a little bit differently. And as I said in the previous episode where we did the internal parts, we're going to be doing some weathering and some streaking and doing all sorts of grossing up as we go along to make the Falcon much more dirty than they give us. Because this one is fairly well weathered, but we can do better than that. Give it some of our infamous Kashyyyk streak, as we so to say. So let's go ahead and get started on stage 27. And this one should be a fairly easy stage to build, although I'm noticing that I'm missing one of my parts. I'll be right back. Thankfully, we're organized. Just took me a second to find where my screw box is. I needed these pieces anyway for some screws. So, for stage 27, we need this piece. And then I'll identify what screws we need. I'm going to go ahead and get all together my screws and separate all of my parts off of their sprues, get them cleaned up, and I will be right back. Alright, so let's go ahead and get building, shall we? So, we have... First up, we're going to take this piece here, and this piece here, and not do what I just did, or that, and do that. You can see that there's a dovetail connection right here. That's where we're going to be putting this in at the end of stage 28. So let's go ahead and get this screwed into place. All we're going to need today is 4 of the small brass self-tapping screws. I'm going to line this up and be careful not to over torque, as we learned in the previous episodes. Just get it tight, and then I'm going to get all 4 in, and then very carefully torque, not twerk, but torque them down to make sure that we're not getting any of that extra. Yeah, there's like just a bite point where it kind of goes. There we go. Hit the bite point, don't go any further, because you will puncture a hole or create an indentation with your screw, which I found actually is to be in a very visible spot, but a not visible spot, if that makes any sense. So let's grab our last screw. And get that put into place. Very nice. So that's very simple. That's a pretty easy connection, actually. This model goes together really nice. It really does. All my complaints earlier are just kind of gone at this point. So, next up, we're going to grab one of our cushion pieces that look like this, and we are going to put it in place right here. Oop, like that, but like that. And I see that I didn't clean that up, so let's go ahead and grab. I cleaned up all of our little ring pieces, but because of course I did. And yeah, I kind of moved on. I was like, oh, thank God that's over with. And so let's not finish doing the job, shall we, Jordan? Oh, that's fine. With the razor, this doesn't take too long. These are excellent files. There we are. So now, I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my real thin CA here. I like to use this for this model. It's easier to apply with the pin vise technique that I like to use. So, this on the pin vise. Get down to this channel here, just like so. This is a fresh piece of wire at the end of this, so it's a little scrapey. Hasn't had a chance to fully get sad yet. Alright, we're going to go hold that in place for just a quick second. Don't need to wait too long. Although, I'm feeling a little unconfident, so let's go ahead and get some of our CA onto the spline here, or the lug point, whatever you want to call this. Let's try that again. Oh yeah, I felt that immediately. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the other side. Grab another one of our cushion pieces. And we're going to be using just a couple of these, I believe. Let's double check to make sure. Yeah, I think literally these 4 pieces that are left up here are going to be for the next stage. So, I'm going to go along the spine here. It's interesting when you separate this model into 2 different sections, you know, like the internal part and the external part. When you're building both and separate them, it feels a little weird. Because they're offset. So like, together they're complicated and a lot to do. But separately, not really. But this I was looking forward to. I was looking forward to finishing up all the internal bits for a little bit. Because I was kind of like looking forward. I've already gotten one package. Another one's about to be delivered probably in the next day or so. With the replacement part coming here soon. So, you know, it's likely that, you know, we're going to be having quite a bit of work to do here. And I think we're going to be, like we said, looking ahead, we're going to be starting attaching our hull panels here soon. So the Falcon is really about to start taking some shape here, which I'm really looking forward to. Okay, so before we move on to stage 28 real quick, I want to go ahead and get this little weathered up, so to say. We're going to be doing our full Kashyyyk streak, as I like to call it, later on. But what I'd like to do today is use, I used the Vallejo wash previously. I want to try the Tamiya today. So we're going to be doing a little bit of experimenting. I imagine that this is going to be just fine. So I'm going to grab some paper towel and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my paper towel here. Screwdriver out of the way. And very simply, I'm going to grab some of my panel line wash and see how this works. It's gray. That's what I'll say. I might want to switch over. We'll see. I would say yes, I'd like to switch over. But let's see how this goes. Nope, we're good. Well, I had to give it a try, right? So. I have my own panel wash that I created a while back, and I use it for my Starfleet ships, but I went ahead and picked up this black wash from Vallejo, and it works great. Like, I have no problem with it. Vallejo is an interesting company. Their paints are great and bad at the same time. It's very interesting. So, let's go ahead and grab one of our weathering brushes here. And it's been fairly weathered now at this point. Get into our wash. Where did our paper towel go? And there we go. I'm just going to paint some of this wash on it. Well, it's interesting. Not quite acting like the previous stuff. Or the previous panels. That's very interesting. I wonder if it has to do with the paint that was left behind on the other wash. So you can see that it's kind of like pooling strangely. It's not painting on, but we'll see how this goes. Once again, doesn't need to be perfect. We're not wanting it to be perfect. Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's fine. Like, I want to get some of those highs in there. Those splatters in the middle. Chewie's a messy, messy, messy guy. Like, that's the thing that Han doesn't talk about, is Chewie is a dirty, dirty Wookiee. And everywhere he goes, he streaks things. It's disgusting. Alright, so we got a little bit of that there. Now, let's go ahead and get some of our wash along the walls. We can't forget about that. Just very simply just run some wash along here. Along in here. We'll do the walls first, and then we'll do the floor next. Alright. Come back over to this other side first. And just very lightly, just pick up some of the wet paint. And just leave the... kind of hard to pick up, but just dirtying it up a little bit. Make it seem less sterile, less clean. Like, they wash and do things with the pads, but, you know, the rest of the ship is not going to be clean like that. So, okay. So, for this one, what I'd like to try is going really thick kind of in the middle. My thought is, you know, they walk down the middle of the planks. Let that set in there a little bit. And just a little bit along the outside. Along here. A little bit of pull down. Once again, I'm not trying to be perfect here. I'm just trying to do things. Create some areas where it's been washed out. Now, just come through and dab it up. Looks like to get the effect that I want, first up, this is doing a good job of just dirtying up the floor. Gotta get nasty. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So first up, that looks good. I like that. Now, I'm going to go back over. And give a little bit more. This is a connection point, so I probably don't need to be weathering in there, but we're doing it anyway, just for the sake of, you know, heck, I didn't notice that until just now. So. All right. I'm going to let that set for just a moment, and I'll be right back. Okay, So I don't know where I saw this technique, and I don't even know if this is going to work here. But the idea is they're walking along, and there's not going to be like little puddles. And so, kind of, I don't know where I saw this, like I said. But the idea is you're just going to pull some of that streaking forward. Or streaking panel wash, whatever you want to call it. Pull some of it forward. Kind of like the natural way that people would be walking. Come back the other way. And you're just pulling streaks in it, so you're not like trying to leave like little puddles. Like Chewie's not just standing there leaking things, you would hope, as you go along. And then I'm going to blend the edges a little bit. I saw it once and it kind of works. I'm just going to kind of blade off the edges here. Yeah, it's not bad. Interesting. I'm going to have to look into that. And if you guys have any tips or tricks for that process, like to create an idea of like a walking path, although it did seem to, let's see if I can get that in the light properly, definitely kind of created the effect that, there's some walking happening up and down the corridor there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and pull off any excess. Wouldn't be an episode if I didn't throw anything, right? That throw really helped things. It did not. But wiping off here, yeah, that turned out good. I like that. So now, real quick, I'm going to grab a smaller brush. With some of my wash, I want to try to get a little bit of a capillary effect into... Oh, this brush needs to be cleaned. Oh, I need to get some brush restore. So, do I have any small brushes? And then I had super messed up. Okay. I was like, oh my goodness. Got one of our detail brushes here. This is 0. And see if I can get just a little bit of that capillary effect going on. Hit each one of the corners. And it's likely I'm going to have to use a lot of paint here. And what I found is you just kind of hold it for a moment. Let go. Let it do its thing. This stuff isn't super thin. So I probably could thin it down a little bit, actually. And which I might do. I'm going to need it for the next section, but, I could probably get away with it. So I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of X20. This is acrylic. Grab my dropper here. And just a couple of drops of the X20 under there. And go ahead and give this a little mix up here. Oh, yeah. That thinned that right up nice. And it might actually work better for the panel wash for what I'm looking for next. So, let's try that again. Yep, that worked better. Sometimes it takes a couple of applications of the wash to get down in there and to get it all the way through. But if you're patient, it'll get all the way where you want it to go. I just want it to get all the way down each one of these lines. There we go. That works. Very nice. Okay. Get that one set there. Then I'm just going to use my trusty something. There we are. Pull some of this excess off the edges there. Blend it in. There we are. Trying to be a little bit careful here. Could probably use another brush for it, but I'm also taking that excess and just weathering it up a little bit more. Pull that excess away. All right, fantastic. That looks great. Let's go ahead and move on to the next section, shall we? Stage 28. Alright, so stage 28 starts with us doing the same thing we did in the last stage, but we're not going to be working on any floor bits, and I'm really not going to focus on putting any sort of weathering along the top up here because this is going to be the roof section. You're really not going to see it too much. We are going to weather up the cushions and get them all taken care of. The area where you can see, but the roof itself, I'm not worried about it. You can't see it. So let's go ahead and get started. Make sure we have our fitment right. And it is going to go into there just like that. And then the other piece that was left over from the previous stage is going to fit in just like that. So let's go ahead and get that started. And just like last time, we're going to quickly get our CA into these grooves where little splines go in. We're going to start with the bottom one. Then we're going to put on the spline as well, if that's even a word. God, I've been using that today and I just don't know. The lug mounting point? I don't know. What do you want to call this? Okay, we're good. All right. So there's that. We're going to hold that in place for just a moment. And you know, if you've been building models, you know when glue is going. Like, it's got a certain feel to it. And thank goodness with super glue or CA, it goes pretty quick. Okay. Especially this stuff. This stuff is super quick. I bought it at the Dollar Tree, and it just works amazing. Better than the stuff that we got for the Johnny 5 at Wonderfest. That super glue was water. Stick your fingers together because that's what super glue does best. But it was water. Okay. And we're getting that put in place. I didn't put any on the splines, but I was able to get plenty inside that little spot. So I'm going to go ahead and hold these two pieces in place for just a moment, and I will be right back. All right, let's go ahead and do the next side, which is basically going to be the same thing. No different. So what I'm doing is this. The splines, I don't know. Like, this is just easy. This one, like, it was kind of genius. So, oh. God, I hate super glue. But I have debonder now. And it was useful the other day. Well, I did pull off some of that paint, but that is totally fine. All right, that is definitely put... Whoa! Man, I'm doing things. I'm doing things. Oh, yeah, I'm doing things. Wow, I'm certainly doing things. Okay. Captain doing things. There we go. That is incorrect. Don't stick it to your finger. Stick it to your finger. Jordan. There it is, and I made a travesty of that. I'm doing this. Oh my god. I hate super glue. Ugh, it gets everywhere. Oh, Anakin. Alright, let's go ahead and do up our panel liner here, or wash. Let's get on both the panels there. And I'm trying to get thicker and thinner in spots. And let that sit for a second. Because then I want it to be thicker and thinner in spots, just for, you know, more weathered. You know. And my thought is I might let it rest, kind of streak down a little bit. I know you guys can't see it right now, but I'm letting it kind of just streak down and pull up in the corners. So, just like that. So now, very simply, just come through here real quick. And give this a quick dab. Like that. Smooth out any obvious drip spots. Make sure all on the side there is nice and weathered up. One thing that I kind of notice is like around the edges, they don't weather them, and it's kind of annoying. There we go. That looks great. Perfect. Yeah, just a little extra Kashyyyk streak. Now, going to go on the parts where I know we're going to be able to see. And just once again, I don't know if we're going to be able to see that. That looks like it's going to be an inset part where we're connecting, but I just want to make sure. And any part that we might be able to see, just throw some of that panel liner on. Get it all over my workstation. I wondered what this was, and it's this. There was a bunch of like spackle and spray, and I was wondering what that was, and that's that from before. Tried to keep this work mat. Oh my god! I tried to keep this work mat clean, but yeah. We'll just say yeah. Okay, so now I think that should be it for our panel wash for today. Let's go ahead and get that set off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and get all of my brushes into some of my brush restore. Get them all cleaning up. Got 5 brushes sitting in there right now. Might be a little embarrassing, but hey, it is what it is. Get that taken care of. Oh, you know, Jordan, we weren't done. Thankfully, I have more brushes. Because we still have to hook this up. Now, this ring is the wrong color, but I have not done anything to any of the other rings, and I believe that it's too late. So I'm going to leave the consistency of color here, and I'm going to focus on getting our pads much more weathered up as we go. So I'm going to grab just a little bit more of our CA. And with this, I'm going to very carefully, as this is one of the areas that is infamous for me in getting glue all over my hands, I'm going to try to get like 4 of these in a row and done all at once. So, I'm going to get plenty of our CA on here. And then through the magic of editing, you're going to see me very quickly struggle through getting this done. Oh my god. Thankfully I just saw where all those went, but yeah, that was pretty funny. I do find it a little frustrating that they don't give us any extras. That's all I gotta say about that. You lose one of these, you're gonna have to create it, and that will kind of suck. Glue kind of dried up there at the end. 2 more here. My goodness. This is full of throwing things today. Oh my god. All right, you know, when you're not doing a million of these, it doesn't suck to do them. But the previous time that we're doing them, we were just doing a ton of these. So, let's go ahead and bring back our wash. Oh, you know, what's another paintbrush to paint or to clean up here? So let's go ahead and grab. There we go. One of our cheapo brushes. And I'm just gonna run as much of this as I can. Trying to be a little bit careful about the splatter here. It does not, being that this is oil base, it does not like to come off. Well, this is acrylic base, so I should be able to get some of that off, but I was not able to get that over splatter off that we see over there. So, it's no big deal. I'm a neat freak though, so it's I don't necessarily am not the biggest fan, so to say, of having my work mat covered with paint and all that, but we will live. We will live. Alright, so that's all on there. I'm going to let this dry for a couple minutes, and I will be right back. I'll be right back. Alright, it's been a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and get this wiped off. You know, I'm not going to be too crazy about getting all of it off. Like, I don't mind leaving a lot of this behind. I'm letting it dry on there. No problem. The more the merrier, so to say. And so there is our arch. Much more weathered up. I much prefer the way this is. And I think I should, because we haven't glued really anything into place, I think we should be able to do this to all of the different arches that we've created. So, let's go ahead and move on and finish up what is going to be a very simple and easy connection. We are going to take our ring that we just created, and we're going to connect that into the 2 dovetails right there. Very simply. Man, I'm all thumbs today. So, those are in there. And wonder which way. Just like that. So, there's this little lug up top goes a certain way. And I think the dovetails are keyed for that, actually. No, that's be more complicated than I thought, but there we are. Then, very simply, get our very simply so very carefully we're going to get that lug mounted up into that hole right there, push that up into place, get the dovetail in, and there we are. God, all thumbs today. And then this ring is going to sit just like that. I had to make sure that I got that right. So there is that hallway connection, and I believe that this is most of everything that we need to complete the inside. So let me go ahead and get all of this stuff cleared off of my workspace, and we're going to take a look to see how all of this looks assembled, and then talk about what's coming next. We'll be right back. Alright, so here's everything, and this is kind of a little dusty. I actually had this displayed out, and I'm kind of regretting that because nothing has been clear coded, and I want to do some more work. So we're going to come back, and we'll be talking at the end of this episode what we're going to be doing next. I've given some thought about it, and with the pacing of all of our different stages that we're going to be having arriving, I know what we're going to do next. And so let's go ahead and get started, shall we, and assemble, according to our diagram here, what this should look like. So first, we are going to take this and set it just like that. And we are going to grab the piece that we just created, and we are going to put it right into place here. Now, let's see here. How is that going to fit in? Just like so. None of these connections are permanent. There are screw holes and things like that we're going to be attaching everything with. So, this is very loose fitting. So there's our first one. Then, so cool. This is going to go here, right? Is that how that goes? Yes, that's how that's going to go. That one's going to go right there. And, okay. So, it's a puzzle piece. Okay. So this is going to go. We need to assemble the top of our passenger tube, just like so. And these rings also have mounting points that I'm noticing for the first time, actually. Been building this model for almost a year now, and I'm just noticing that. So this one is not put in there correctly, so let's go ahead and get these turned around just for the sake of getting this right. And I can see there's two different places where you can put these, and it's either going to be facing towards this way or facing this way, and it seems like the connections are all facing this way. If that makes any sense. So now, we'll set that in there. Let's get each one of the lugs mounted up in their proper lug spots. There we go. Oh yeah, that fits together nice once you get those lined up properly. Wow, Jordan. Learning things. Okay, perfect. Now, that little corridor piece that we created in the previous episode, it's been a little while now. Oh, I fat-fingered it. Oh my god. Well, looks like this episode just got a little longer. Oh my god. Oh, I was so worried about that. Thankfully, it's not bad, but my goodness. I just literally just went, duh! Wow. Let's grab some of our good CA out here. My God. Wow. Wow. I certainly do. I really do. I certainly do like to break things on this model, don't I? Thankfully, this is a very simple and easy fix. We're just going to get some of our CA. I'm starting to run real low on my CA here. Is it all dried up inside? Oh, it might be. Yeah. It's all dried up inside there. Brought it to work to fix my boss's car. Worked. He broke his Mercedes emblem on the front of his lease, so I fixed it for him using CA. Because of course I did. Oh God. So. There we are. And then all of our dovetails along here are going to get a decent little, oh my God. When these little applicators are cut down, they apply CA super quick, don't they? Because I wasn't expecting to use this today. Right in the middle of recording, and of course, I'm going to bust something. Ugh, wow. And it broke in such a way that, you kind of got to manipulate it back into place a little bit. Stick your fingers together a lot bit. Oh my God. Jordan, you idiot. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Ah. Okay. You know what? Stop. Slow down. My goodness. What did I just do? Oh, look at this. What did I just do? Oh, huh. I just did things, horrible things to this model. Horrible, horrible things to this model. Am I getting that right? Or does it go like that? It goes like that. Right. Okay. Thankfully, this isn't going to be seen. Ay, 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 ay. So, let's very carefully set this into place. My goodness. Wow. There we go. Just like that. Let's go. Wow. Wow. Wow, Jordan. Wow. That's all I gotta say is wow. This goes in here like that. One of these locking rings are gonna go in here at the end. I believe that one goes here. Nope, just one goes at the end here. So that connects up right there. Once again, put the locking ring here at the end there. Just like that. Let's get that fitted into place properly. I'm trying to be a little ginger with the model now, and I probably don't need to be. And then, grab our last hole piece section here. This one fits in just like so. And of course I have one of my ring sections wrong, but I'm not really going to worry about that. And then we're going to put our other holder piece on right there. And then this is going to slot in right here. So I'm not going to worry about doing too much more than that. So this one fits in just like that. That's going to slot in right here. So I'm just going to be very gentle with them and set them just off to the side like that. Get our magazine out of the way. And there it is, my friends. Our internal parts are all assembled and put together and ready for the next stage. And so to talk about that, as I said, we're waiting on stage like 34, I think is what it is. And it's going to be delivered later this month. And so it's going to be the perfect opportunity to do our first real mod into this model. And that's going to be painting the internal bits. And so we're going to be working on getting the Kashyyyk Streak in full action and getting this thing all nice and weathered up, and it's going to look fantastic. So look for that in 2 weeks, and that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes watching me break a model and stick my fingers together, which I think is pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions, comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And just remember that the Force is one with you, and that you are one with the Force.